Everyone who watched the fight saw two men in the ring. For me, it was nothing to do with the opponent. It was about the person I found underneath the performance. At 37 years of age, I would say this is where what I call the drift kind of really started for me, where I really started to lose identity of who I was. I didn't really know myself anymore. After 15 years of working hard, building a business, being ambitious, chasing all the business rabbits, I was totally lost. Yeah, I was like, who am I? And before I started in business, I played semi-professional rugby. And I played rugby since I was 12 years of age. And that was probably a place where I was really meant to be. That was where I could really express myself and be myself. And I decided to take part in a regional kickboxing championship. I'd never kickboxed before, and I gave myself a year's worth of training with the goal of winning it. And I would say this was probably a time in my life where I really got to know myself for 12 months again. Yeah, getting up at 5 a.m. and running 10 kilometers in the winter, yeah, it can be a place which tests you. Yeah, you get to know who you are, you get to know your limits. And the way I saw it is in business, or maybe you have a really stressful job, you have to turn up and sometimes you have to fake it. Yeah, if you're having a bad day, you have to fake it because you are the person people look up to. Yeah, you are the leader. Yeah, you can't walk into the room where people are looking up to you and go, you know what, things aren't going too well for me, because you're the one who's supposed to be taking that company or that business forward. Yeah, so people think you've got it all together. And through the training for this kickboxing tournament, it taught me so much about myself. It wasn't about the gold medal, ultimately, and it wasn't about the opponent. It was really about getting to know me again. And I found out that I am a winner. Yeah, I really am a winner, a fresh winner. And in business, I would say I'm a winner, but I was chasing rabbits just for the sake of it. This had purpose behind it. Yeah, I wanted to win this, mainly for me, to get to know me again, to prove to myself who I really am. And it also showed me that I like to be the underdog. I like to be the person who's got their back against the wall, where everybody writes off, but comes out as the champion. And these are certain things I found about me, which kind of brought back who I really was before my business journey, before I, chased the ambition, I chased the rabbit, I got caught in what life's all about. And it gave me back. Yeah, for 1 year, it gave me back. And I didn't really realize it at the time. I only realized when I look back. And I remember getting into that ring in the final. And I remember staring my opponent in its eyes in a very chilled out way. And it's one-to-one combat sport. So I am a confident person, but I'm not going to say that I wasn't nervous. Yeah. It takes one punch to knock somebody out, one punch to make a fool out of somebody. But I knew, it was me. Yeah. My reputation didn't matter. My experience in business didn't matter. Nothing mattered. It was about who I was, who this guy was, and the combat between us. And that was quite refreshing because I got to know the guy underneath the business performance. Yeah, underneath the guy, I got to know the real me who was nervous, because I've never acted nervous in business because I've had to be the strong one. Yeah, I was nervous. Doubt came into my head, and I'm not allowed to show that in business because I've got to be the strong pillar. Yeah, the self-doubt, but also I can do this. Yeah, I can do this, and I'm doing this backed with a reason, where I got to a stage in my business where I was chasing goals just for chasing the sake of it. And it was a very magical moment where I got to find myself again. And I am extremely grateful for the experience. And yes, I did win the fight. And you know what? There's a few goals behind that fight. I wanted to show my daughter, what you need to do, the hard work, which goes into getting a gold medal. I wanted to help my friend who ran the club out to give him his first gold medal because it was his first club regional championship. But ultimately, it's about finding out who I was again, who I was behind the business performance. Yeah. And I managed to achieve that, which, looking back, was a fantastic experience. What you also realize about business is you can walk into that room and have a bad meeting. Yeah, you can say the right words and turn around that bad meeting and walk away with, it being a good meeting. Where one-to-one combat sport, you can't afford to have a bad meeting. Yeah, you can't hide behind anyone or anything or any words. It's you versus the other guy. And when I saw that, I brought that authenticity into my business. I brought who I really was into my business and the identity which I really was, which was vulnerable. Yeah, you're vulnerable. One-to-one combat, you're vulnerable. So many things and emotions are going through your head. And I try to keep it more real. And people want to see the real you, even though you're a leader. Yeah, people still want to see the real you. And I needed to show the real me from that identity, which I figured out about myself. That was the real me. Yeah, one-to-one, no hiding. Yeah, let's go. Most men don't get to experience what I experienced, even though you're very capable, but it's kind of easy to hide behind your performance, yeah, without getting to know the real person behind the performance. Now, I'm not saying you have to go and sign up for a combat kickboxing event, but maybe look back to something which you really enjoyed when you were in your younger days, before you got on the treadmill of life, the treadmill of business, the treadmill of up the ladder in your job. Yeah, go back and lose yourself for a minute and find how you really are, maybe in a sport, or maybe it was a different activity. Yeah, but you don't have to get into combat sport, but that was just my thing. So yeah, it's something which can really help you refine yourself again. So if something resonated with you, please leave a comment in the comment box below. Maybe share your story, and maybe you could add to this video of something you've experienced. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, where I will be sharing more videos on the drift, helping men rebuild and living their best life again.